In mule deer camp, and in this country I'm going to expect some incline decline shots. That's highly likely. So the tip is, don't just go to camp and check your marks on flat ground. And I shouldn't just say marks, you should actually check your marks on flat ground, but check your technique in the application that you're expecting, which in this case I'm expecting some uphill or downhill shots. So I shot some flat, my marks are good. Now what I'm going to do is just focus on my technique. And just a reminder of the technique is, you want to be able to draw level if you can. You know, make sure you have good footing when you're in this kind of country. You know, if you're having to make a shot here, the last thing you need to do is have this super awkward footing, because your feet have a direct connection to your brain, and if your feet aren't steady, then your brain's going to know you're not steady, and the front arm's going to also be unsteady. So make sure you have good footing first and foremost, and from there you're going to focus on the basic principles. You're going to want to make sure that your bubble's level when you draw. Make sure you're level, and you're going to pivot at the waist after you've anchored and after you've acquired your peep sight and you've centered front sight, rear sight, and you have a perfect eclipse with your peep perfectly around that front scope. Then you're going to bend to address the target, and you're going to really focus on pulling through the shot. It's really important with uphill and downhill shots that you're very dynamic in the shot, meaning you're coming through your shot solid, not being static and just shooting and your release hand goes nowhere, and essentially you're virtually creeping and you're waiting for the shot to happen. You don't want that to happen. You want to be dynamic, because when you're on these angles, there's a lot going on physically, and you want to make sure that you're making solid shots. So I'm going to have my footing correct. Go ahead and make sure I've got my yardage correct. Perfect. Set my sight. From there, we're going to focus on exactly what I told you. Make sure the bubble is level here, draw, and you're going to address that target. Now, in a situation where something might be looking at you, and let's say you can't make that much movement, if you want to have proper technique, maybe split the difference. Draw partially to them and then try to acquire, but you have to have a T formation that's bent at the hips. Anchor first, peep sight, acquire front sight, rear sight eclipse, check your level, pin on target, pull through the shot good. Bubbles level. I'm anchored, peep, pivoting. Pulling through. Dead center. So that's what I need to do. Give yourself 10 or 12 reps where you're doing that and you feel comfortable, then reverse, go to the uphill. And if you do that, when you're on these hunts in this kind of country, you're going to be able to put the shots where they need to be.